Hello, welcome to Garden Chronicles. My name is James David. This is actually the update of my Rangoon Creeper Vine, which is more of the double variety. And you may also find that the petals, when I mention double variety, is that they have multiple layers of petals on it. And this particular type of flowers is such that it has three types of coloring, where in the appearance of its bud it will be in white, and slowly it will turn from pink to dark red. Now, one of the things that I would like to mention about this on this particular update is that I would really like to encourage you to watch my earlier videos where I've actually explained a lot of details and tips and plant care and every single information requiring concerning this particular type of plant care. Now, in this particular video, I want to show an in-depth factor of this particular blooming cycle currently that is taking place, and I will just want to update you with certain information that might intrigue you for this particular video. Firstly, I must say that this particular plant is very resilient and extremely hardy and able to handle in various tropical conditions. Now, coming to that factor, what I want to make an emphasis here is that given the choice that you can actually choose the type of plants, and let's say that you have a very tight place for it and you do not have much of a garden space, especially, you can actually choose this particular one. And the key to this factor here is constant pruning. Now, this is one thing that I have actually done many various times, that in every single time that when this particular plant finish its blooming, I normally trim it off right to the main trunk. Now, one of the things that I find that, of course, it will take some time for the plant to regenerate. In a way, I can say roughly about maximum 3 months time. Do take note that I rarely fertilize this particular plant, and what are things that I actually find that without fertilizing, the plant does produce many vigorous blooms. Now, one of the most beautiful things coming to this particular Rangoon Creeper Vine is that they do very well with the Spanish moss, and this particular type of cascading kind of effect comes together with the blooms does give a very beautiful glorious factor in a visual display. So I do encourage you to come to a place of creativity where you can actually apply or actually fasten this particular air plant or supposedly Spanish moss upon the Rangoon Creeper one to give that cascading look. Now, looking at this particular video, I want to make an emphasis that these particular blooms are about a week in their time frame, and you can see most of the flowers have already matured and already turned most of its colorization into deep pink and maroonish red. Other things here also that I notice is that these petals are also seems to sort of create a crinkle kind of effect in a curly kind of view, and I find that it is quite interesting because due to the nature of the flowers, this particular variety does create a very beautiful cascading effect. Now, one of the things that I've noticed here is that a lot of the stingless bee or blue bottle bees do visit these flowers. Maybe a few different types of bees comes for these flowers. Rarely have I noticed butterflies, and again, ecologically, I believe that butterflies or caterpillars have reduced for some strange reason in my region for this moment of time. But somehow I find that up in that context, when there are actually a lot of flowers in an area, it actually attracts a lot of insects such as butterflies and bees. The unique factor about these blooms is that there are still buds forming. You can see all the white buds that is in their white colors, and you can see that they are in a constant flow of flowers, or mean to say that they are still in their high blooming cycle. it will come to a place where a lot of these blooms will all turn red, and a lot of it will actually dry and actually hang upon the flower buds. So you may have to deadhead them, and in most cases I find that it can be looking very leggy or ugly looking, and it's set off like a kind of a dangle that doesn't really look very interesting. See, we can see over here the whole set have already dried out, but it's still sticking against it. So this is the portion that I normally deadhead it, but in most cases I'll just let it go because there's so many blooms or inflorescence that is hanging. So I will just let it go for about another 1 or 2 more weeks, and I will just hard prune everything and let it to reset itself with another set of beautiful blooms. Now, one of the things that I want to make mention about this is that I have found something very interesting is that I have actually sort of like half pruned the particular plant. And I say this is the main trunk of the plant, and I actually prune one side of it and leave the other side without pruning. And what I find that here is that the part that I pruned earlier have already come to its blooming cycle, which is over here. Then later, about say 1.5 months later, I prune the other side, and that is waiting to be bloomed, on to say is waiting for the next cycle to be bloom. And that is quite interesting. See, like over here this is all waiting to be bloom. I will show it to you the other side, the side A and side B kind of say, and I find that that's interesting because now I can actually focus on the part where once it has finished its blooming, I'll prune the one that has finished its blooming cycle, and I will just look forward for the next blooming cycle that I think apparently will take another 2 to 3 weeks on this side. And this is quite interesting because I've never experienced this portion, I mean this experiment to say. So in a way it is quite interesting because I didn't know that you can actually do this by half pruning one side and leaving the other. In that way, one of the things that I have noticed is that I can enjoy this particular blooming cycle in a way for 2 seasons. Like this particular one, if you can notice that it is still in its bud form. So by the time that particular side has finished its blooming cycle, I can hope and enjoy the next cycle of flowers in this side corner. So this is what I want to mention about my discovery on this particular video is to do when it comes to pruning, do so like half portion of it. So let's say you hard prune one side and leave the other side, and by the time it comes to certain maturity level, then you prune the other side. So I do not know whether it makes sense to you, but this is what I want to make an emphasis. Like over here, this is actually the secondary pruning, which is now appearing to be in its blooming cycle, or not yet bloom yet, but I can estimate roughly it might take about 2 to 3 weeks or maybe another 1 more month for it to finish its cycle or come to its cycle of blooms. Now we can notice over here, this is where I hard prune the whole thing. This is the main trunk. I have without mercy just prune the whole thing, and therefore just keep this whole trunk as it is, so that when they give out their shoots, it would not be overwhelming. Because if I do not prune them, what is going to happen here is that that particular part of the branch will become something like a trunk, and the whole plant will sort of like appear to be very wild-like without any structure, and it will just throw out a lot of vines everywhere, and the plant will actually suffer itself in a way that it will use a lot of its nutrients on a growth factor, and you will only find 2 or 3 branches that with minimum flowers. So it is quite unsightly and it's not beautiful to look at. So this is one of the things on the factor of Rangoon Creeper Vine. I will always encourage the growers to constantly prune. Now, I have missed out this particular one from pruning. Now I want to show to you here, this is actually the seed pod of this particular Rangoon Creeper Vine. I have not able to propagate it. It does turn brown and it does fall off from the whole branch, and I want to showcase here of how it looks like on its matured state when it becomes to a seed pod. Now these particular leaves are actually infested with spider mites, and I'm surprised that spider mites do attack this particular plant, but it's going to be a heavy toll for me to spray a lot of pesticide on this whole plant. So one of the best thing to do is that once it's finished the cycle, I normally pruned off everything, and therefore I can able to control the spider mite infestation. Now one of the things that I want to make mention here is that these fruits are edible. I think in certain part of India that these are actually sold as crop food. However, I'm not sure whether they are medicinal, and they are medicinal, but it's not widely practiced here as a medicinal plant. So there is a lot of research that can be done when it comes to Rangoon Creeper Vine. Finally, another unique factor that I actually found while taking a video on this particular plant, I've noticed a sunbird is actually sunbathing on the plant. In a way, it is quite cute to look at it because it was making some calls, and I was actually observing it, and it is sort of like trying to camouflage itself with the plant while I was taking this video. I think this is the best magnified version of it that I can able to take, because if I were to take too much of a closer shot, it appears to be the pixels are breaking. But that is one of the things about nature which I actually enjoy. There is always something unique to fall in love with and enjoy and share the plants in the garden together with other plants. In a way, I find that this is one of the things that I actually enjoy when it comes to garden, especially when I find sunbirds, dragonflies, butterflies, bees, and this kind of creatures visit my garden to make everything unique and beautiful. Finally, do check out on the videos that comes on the screen in my playlist, and I hope you really enjoy it, and see you again in my next collection of videos when it comes to my unique collection in my tropical garden. Thank you. I've now come to the end of my video, and this is the part that I would really like to ask you for your favor. And if you really can, I would really appreciate very much that if you can actually subscribe to my channel. And this actually helps the YouTube algorithm to sort of like select and show the element of traffic that takes place in my channel, and this would actually create more awareness for all the other gardeners here who may want to see more of the detailed information on my garden space. And hence, when there's a lot of traffic, this will actually help to garner more interest in my channel. One of the factors that I've actually noticed is through the analyst is that I only find that only 2% of the people here who actually does click like and subscribe to my channel. Hence, I would really like to make emphasis here for a request. And if you really like my video, and if you find that my videos and my channel is beneficial and helpful for your gardening experience, and you look forward for looking into my garden space, I would really appreciate seriously if you can click like and subscribe to my channel, and do place in your comments, and I will more than happy to entertain and indulge myself in putting in all the queries in according to your questions based on my experience and my knowledge. Also, I would really like to request that you do check out in all your other videos here, which is under popular and most viewed, and see if at all any plants that actually garner your gardening experience. Thank you so much for your support, and see you again in my next video. Take care and have a nice day. Bye.